Turn our attention back to basketball, sort of. Sacramento Kings center and former Kansas Jayhawk Scott Pollard was so upset when he heard Monday night that Roy Williams was leaving Kansas that, unsolicited, he called the Lawrence Journal-World, and among his comments to the paper were, quote, "I don't think Roy has it in his character to be a phony. I love and respect the man, but circumstances make him look like a liar. I don't think he meant to be a liar or is a liar." But he said he considered us his kids and those of us who have kids his grandkids. Yet now it's time to leave. Pollard also added that if he were one of the current KU recruits, he would try to get out of his letter of intent. The past 24 hours have been a roller coaster of emotions for Williams, Kansas fans, and the current and former Jayhawk players. Earlier today, Mike Greenberg spoke with the new Carolina coach about his move and its ramifications.
You made it very clear last night, Roy, that the most difficult part of this for you was leaving those players behind. What is your message to the players that played for you at Kansas and those you recruited who never got that chance to play for you?
Well, it's a little different if they never got there at all, because I almost feel like a traitor to those guys, because I expected to be there. I never thought that what would happen at North Carolina would happen. I never expected this decision to have to be made again. But for 15 years, I gave them every single thing I had. I gave them 100% every day, and I hope they'll remember 15 years of a great ride, a great journey, a lot of fun. But more than anything, that I gave them every single thing I had for 15 years. And the recruits, two of the most difficult phone calls last night I've ever had to make. And, you know, kids do choose schools, but they also choose coaches. And even though on the national letter it's got in bold print, please remember you are signing with the school, you are not signing with the coach, the NCAA tries to remind them, but that's just print. It's not factual, because kids do choose schools based on coaches a lot of time. And David Padgett and Omar Wilkes that I spoke to last night, I felt like a traitor.
A lot of people think that those kids, and maybe even those who played for you at Kansas or at any program, should have the opportunity to leave that school if the coach leaves. Do you think that would be a good idea?
Well, I don't think so if the kids have been in school there, because they're already entrenched in school. They wouldn't want to give up a year. You know, our sophomore class, Keith Langford, Wayne Simeon, Aaron Miles, Michael Lee, those guys, that's a great, great class. And I gave them everything I had for 2 years, and we went to 2 Final Fours. But when you're talking about a youngster like David Padgett, who narrowed his decision down to Kansas and North Carolina, and his dad said he wanted to play for you, man, that's hard. I think that that kid should have a small window of opportunity to do something to another school without paying a penalty. And yet on the other side of it, you know, I've been on that side where players have left and gone early to the NBA, and I don't have any choice of going and being able to get another player to replace that. So there's a lot of inequities, but I don't know that there's any that can make make me feel as badly as what I felt last night.
As to your decision, why was this right now when it wasn't right 3 years ago?
You know, 3 years ago, it didn't seem like it was the right thing to do. I had Nick Collison. I had promised him that I was going to be there. Kirk Heinrich, they were freshmen. Since then, every kid that's asked me, I've said I'm not going to the NBA, and I didn't go to North Carolina, and that's the only place I would really consider leaving Kansas for, so I'm going to be here. And it was strange because, as I said, you just don't expect the North Carolina job to open after 3 years, and I thought Matt would be here another 20 years. But this time, there's some factors, my family's, the health of some people in my family, my roots, you know, and again, I tried to give Kansas everything I could possibly give for 15 years.
Now, you mentioned Matt. That's, of course, Matt Doherty, the former coach at North Carolina, who played for you at Carolina and coached under you at Kansas. Today, he reacted to the news of your hiring. Let's let you hear what he had to say.
Well, I think that he's the best choice for the head coaching position at North Carolina. His track record at Kansas speaks for itself. He's coming home. I know it was a tough decision for him, but he's the best person for the job, and he's going to do a great job with the program.
Roy, we mentioned the close relationship you've had with Doherty over the years. Is this a difficult or uncomfortable situation for you, replacing him at Chapel Hill?
It was really uncomfortable when it first happened, and the way it happened, the timing of when it happened, just stunned me. It was uncomfortable. I didn't like it. Matt has visited. I've visited with Matt, in fact, from New Orleans. He gave me his blessings after the championship game, if we were fortunate enough to win, that he would be behind us during that game and behind anything that I did, and has visited with a member of my staff. He's a youngster that I helped recruit, helped coach. He helped me coach and is a part of my family and a person that I'll care about for the rest of my life. And I think he meant what he said there about supporting me, because there's nobody that wanted North Carolina to win more games the last 3 years than me. Even his mom and dad didn't pull for him as hard as I did.
And so the job does stay within the Carolina family. What are the first things you have to do now as you get set in your new position?
The immediate decisions, you know, we've got 2 of our staff members that are here. We've met with the players, had some good meetings with them, and hope to do that again. I'm going back to Lawrence for the basketball banquet on Thursday night, which will be a very emotional time for me because of my feelings for those kids and that community and school and state. But, you know, it's somebody said the reason people are so upset is because it's like a 15-year marriage and then you leave for a mistress. And I said I don't think it's like that at all, because I've done nothing immoral. And, you know, I had a 5-year contract and I stayed 10 extra years, but they could have gotten rid of me at some point, and I still would have had to been glad of what I had. And I love that place. I love those players. As I said last night, I am Tar Heel born, but I'm just as much Jayhawk bred as anything, but it looks like now I'm going to be Tar Heel dead.
All right, Roy Williams, thank you so very much for your time and your candor tonight.
Thank you very much.
So this brings us to our question of the night. Should college athletes be able to transfer without penalty if their coach leaves their program? Log on to ESPN.com. A simple yes or no vote will do.